Hey everybody, welcome back to the Serving Pleasure.
I just spent like 2 hours going over lines for a show and I can't speak.
We're professionals.
You're not a fucking professional.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Serving Pleasure podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Jesse, and with me today is a guest host named Seth Campbell. Seth, say hi.
Hey.
I'm also in a room full of a bunch of idiots because I haven't recorded an episode in forever, and I also wanted to make sure that I could put in at least one more presidential episode before the month ended, considering I only put out one. And that makes me feel bad. So this is kind of an apology letter to everyone who has been holding out for new episodes of the show, and is also a way for me to feel creatively fulfilled since I just put on 2 shows and I missed my podcast about lewd stuff. So today we're going to be reading something called Talking Politics on fanfiction.net by Do It for a Push. This is a solid one. So Seth, you specifically told me to hunt down this fanfiction.
Yes. This one, I believe, features Martin Van Buren, who is one of my favorite U.S. presidents of all time, due solely to the fact that he has the best facial hair of any president ever.
And what, you didn't like his policies?
No.
I thought that's why you like presidents in this country.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about politics in this country, is that there's no punchline there.
So, yeah, this is not a political podcast.
Nope.
This is a sex fiction podcast.
I know about one of those 2 things.
Politics. Fuck this. So, I assume there are going to be 2 presidents in this one, and it looks like it's Andrew Jackson and Martin Van Buren. So, there's going to be dialogue up ahead. Do you want to play Martin Van Buren, Seth?
I would absolutely love to play Martin Van Buren.
Okay, cool.
Fulfill 3 out of my 4 fantasies.
I would like to say there's no summary for this one, so I can't check it like I do for all the other ones. So I'm sorry that I'm going to have to skip that part for this episode, but I'll just get right into it. Do you want to provide the over narration, or would you trust me to do that? Because you are the guest, I will let you decide.
You can handle the narration.
Okay, that's
Your
fine.
voice is better than
I'm
mine.
perfectly fine with that.
Yes.
Because that was such a nice compliment. Jackson sat on his friend's lap, comforting him on his chest. He felt safe there, with Van Buren holding his arms around him.
I think Van Buren was one of the shortest presidents in U.S. history.
So he would not have been able to cuddle.
Jackson would not fit on Van Buren's
He
lap.
was the stone wall. It would destroy him. All right. Holding his arms around him, Jackson reached up for the man's face. He felt safe in the luscious texture of his sideburns, though usually a mess, were oddly tamed today. Jackson wished he would tame him like he tamed his corybantic facial hair.
With a comb and over the course of an hour and a half?
It probably wouldn't take Van Buren that long.
They were huge. They were so big.
Here's a reminder to myself to put in a picture of Martin Van Buren, but just the chops. When Van Buren felt his touch, he reached his hand down and touched Jackson's hair as well. It was soft like his own. He decided he would talk to Jackson about growing a beard later, but at the time, there was more important things to do. Like fuck.
Verbatim.
That's what it said. I'm sad that you're not one of my usual co-hosts, because they would know very well to say like fuck with me.
Oh, I am so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. You're new.
Yeah, I'm learning.
You're literally only here to bring in more listeners. He turned his body down to look at Jackson, so strong and independent, wrapped in his arms like a child. He wished they could have children.
Have you seen Mpreg?
Has everyone here seen Mpreg, is the real question. Jackson looked up, seeing the twinkle that shone in Van Buren's eyes. Suddenly, he felt the erection.
Wait, who
felt the erection? His sensitive sideburns had brought it out, is Jackson's erection.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right.
Jackson looked up, having felt it as well. Oh, no, I guess it's... Van Buren noticed that he had an erection.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, his sensitive sideburns had brought it out. Jackson looked up, having felt it as well. He looked pleased. But then, a look of horror overcame him. What the frick diddly whack was that? This was a platonic cuddling section, you dipshit. I just wanted to talk politics, cried Jackson, yet slightly flattered at the quality of his hardness. Like, damn, son. But he sure as hell wasn't telling Van Buren that,
I thought you wanted the dick.
said Van Buren defensively.
All the signs were there.
Bye.
Bye.
We lost some members of the audience.
Oh, God. I thought you wanted the dick.
Please listen to the Serving Pleasure Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/servingpodcast, as well as on Twitter at servingpp. Sorry. I thought you wanted the dick,
I thought you wanted the dick.
said Van Buren defensively.
All the signs were there. I mean, your boner was the biggest sign. Does this usually happen, Andy? Do random boners appear a lot?
Yes.
If so, you should really get that checked out.
Okay, so, maybe it wasn't completely platonic. But leave my penis alone!
I'm sorry. I didn't know. Can't we do it? I thought you were single.
Van Buren yelled. I am single, Jackson shouted, a little taken back. But you know how I felt after my beloved wife died.
That's besides the point. Let's fuck.
Fine!
Uh,
This is these are the strong men that we trust to lead our country.
Oh, yeah.
They
You
know what
imagine-
they want and they take it.
This is exactly what the war room is like every single day.
Oh man, I wanted to say stuff about Obama, but I didn't get to read any of that yet.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
At least before his term ends, I have to read something. That's a promise. I'll have nothing but time in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Fine!
Okay. I didn't really expect you to agree so quickly, but all right. Swag.
Van Buren kneeled, unbuttoning Jackson's pants. I don't wear underwear. Hashtag sorry not sorry. You know how Andrew Jackson can be, said Jackson, waving his hand dismissively.
No, it's better that way. Easy access.
Well, get ready for a hard fuck. Gonna be the trail of tears up in here. So, what is that implying?
A mass genocide?
Master, ooh, that's how hard that fuck is.
Killing millions of sperm.
Every tribe is gonna feel that. All the way to Oregon.
It will be a blemish on
Oklahoma?
this nation for generations.
Where do they go? Oklahoma or is it Oregon?
No, they don't. They went. No, they went to.
Most of them died.
Yeah, no,
is the
they
problem.
went there first, and then they kept going.
That's a bummer.
Because they were like, white people need Oklahoma.
Serving Pleasure Podcast does not condone the political choice of sending multiple Native Americans to a place away from their home to die along the way.
But one is okay.
What?
You said multiple.
Oh, yeah, one is fine. One Native American forced to vacate their home and then die while traveling across the country. That's fine. Serving Pleasure Podcast says that's okay. I speak on behalf of Harry, Wesley, Bailey, myself, and now Seth.
Yeah, alright. Do me harder than you killed the bank.
Sighed Van Buren.
Killed the bank.
There we go. As this was happening, outside the window of their once thought to be private meeting place, John C. Calhoun stood, watching, a rage filling up inside him as hard and furious as Van Buren and Jackson's fucking. An intense loathing overcame him. What if he wanted to be in that? They never asked him to do things like that. He needed some serious states' rights up in this bitch. And that was the beginning of Calhoun and Jackson's hatred toward one another. Finn.
Oh my god.
Okay, so at the end of every episode, we make sure that we review. Seth, I know you've never listened to my podcast before.
I listened to 10 minutes of the 4th episode of Bone Rider.
Terrible place to start.
It was pretty good.
For those of you listening to this episode and none of the other ones just because Seth is in it, if you would like to get into the rest of the podcast, I suggest you start at something titled Episode 1 instead of 4. Or something that, I don't know, maybe doesn't have an episode on it. I recommend Serving Pleasure Podcast reads Holes. That was the other political episode we did this month, featuring Bill Clinton and SpongeBob SquarePants.
Not the book with the owl.
not the book with the owl, and not the movie with Shia LaBeouf.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So, Seth, I want to get your opinion on this. How would you review your reading of Talking Politics by Do It for A Push?
Well, I think it got definitely 2 sideburns out of 2 for sure.
2 sideburns out of 2.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow,
absolutely.
that's the highest
It was-
rating that anything on Serving Pleasure podcast has ever gotten.
Wow. Yeah. I think they were not fully grown sideburns. They
Oh.
weren't quite as well developed
Oh.
as our featured main characters were.
Well, how could anything be?
Right. Exactly.
That's the pinnacle of existence.
Ruled with iron chops. I think it was a little short. Left me a little lacking.
You know what? I would like to see more. If we clicked on Do It for A Push's page, maybe they do have more.
Maybe that could be.
I would look into. You could look into that. If you want to come back and read another episode by Do It for A Push, also Do It for A Push. If you would like to come and talk to us about this episode, please do. I would be intrigued to see it because my 1-word review for this episode would be fantastic, which is also the highest rating that I have ever given an episode because I thought this did everything that it set out to do. It was funny, and it was a great way to see 2 presidents just bone.
Yes, and also throw in John C. Calhoun.
John C.
A little historical.
John C.
education.
Calhoun out of nowhere.
Throwing it down.
Like, Do It for A Push. I hope you really did write this for your A Push class. Because you should have gotten an A or whatever extra credit, the maximum amount for this project.
Easily. No, this is like AP submission material. It's 500 words, which means that you can enter it as a short essay on the AP U.S. History test.
You could.
Well,
You
yeah.
could.
100%.
5.
Yeah, no,
5.
done. 6. They give it a 6.
Ignore the multiple choice. You got a 5 on
Yep.
your A Push exam.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to read the fanfiction.net reviews for this. We got Tabby Cat Twitch, who said, "This is golden." True Rapunzel said, "Literally, this is so funny." And there's no name on this one. It just says, "Down W Van Jackson, ho, you know Jackson and Ben Franklin go the hardest. Hashtag trail of hoes and bitches."
You know, I'm inclined to agree with that comment.
I'm very inclined to agree.
Yep.
If I could change the slogan of this podcast, I would. Hashtag trail of hoes and bitches. Ethan, reminder, please use this hashtag when you post the episode on Twitter. I don't have to do a lot of editing for this episode. And then Cavella says, "Wow, you know I am speechless."
Me too, Cavella.
Me too. Oh, I'm such a big fan. I missed doing this so much. Seth,
Yes.
do you have anything else you'd like to say? Because I'm probably going to close out the episode soon.
I think I've said everything that needs to be said about Van Jackson.
It's short, sweet, and to the point. I wish there was a sequel.
Just like Van Buren's penis.
It's a big old monster dog. Oh, everybody come here. It's time to slam now. We got a real Jackson going down on Van Buren's dick now.